Welcome back to a brand new coffee tech break with Jan. Good to see you back on my channel again. I think I got another great video for you lined up today because I want to take you through now to the applications running on top of a VideoOS operating system. So I will first start with the Teams application running on the StudioX and take you through all the latest and greatest. Now, first off, with 4.3.2, the Teams application, the 0804, will be delivered with this package. Now, same with company portal, it will be the 60.61 coming along with the 4.3.2. Now, what could be is in between, there could be newer versions available through Teams Admin Center. No problem, you can always upgrade it. I mean, if you upgrade to 4.3.2 and the version within 4.3.2 is older than the version that you already pushed, then that newer version will stay on the device. And so don't worry about that. In Teams Admin Center, you should be able to see now 4.3.2 popping up. So you can push out complete new operating system, including the application, to the devices now. Really, really nice. Now, new Teams certified devices. A whole range. So we got now the V52 Teams certified. V72 is in Team certification in progress, so probably with my next video I will show you that also. The G62 is a Team certified now, and we got the complete new range, the X32, which will come in new year, the X52 and the X72 are all Teams certified, ready to go. Just to be aware of that. Now, what are some new features and functions? Well, of course, there's always maintenance, hotfixes, etc., which are part of those Teams app updates. We got external USB support, not with speakers, so that is really important. External USB support, so you can connect to an X52 or X72. You can connect external cameras, which I showed you before, where we got the E60 now Team certified. But you can connect those cameras using a USB, and up to 2 is today supported. One IP camera is also supported now with this release. So you can connect it up to the G62 using an injector or using the Netgear switch if you want to do it via with additional microphones, etc. But you can also have it within the G7500, and then you directly connect there the IP camera. And the other one is USB HUD plugging, so you can now plug in cameras if you want to use them, so you don't need to reboot. So that is also a possibility now with this latest release. HDCI camera, that is important, no HUD plugging. If you still got an Eagle Eye Director 2 hanging around, or Eagle Eye 4, 4x zoom or 12x zoom, you can connect them, but only one single HDCI camera is supported. Just good to know. And also, if you look at Chromium, it's version 120 plus now. And that means that the Raycast join can be enhanced with all sort of new features. So in the new Chromium, we got, for example, multiple streams available, multiple layouts, HDMI ingest is available with this new Chromium release. So this is available, but of course, depending on the progress with the different video providers like Teams and Zoom, etc., they will need to make that available on their application to support that. So keep that in mind. Although in the basis it's there, so all the groundwork has been done, but still it needs to be opened up from the application side. Now, what is available more? We have different framing modes now, which was also already available if you got a Pro license, and then you're able to switch between composite, that is the people framing, so getting multiple participants in one view. You got active speaker and group framing, of course, depending on your camera that you're using. So that is available in the Teams application. Now, what has happened? So you see we delivered the 0804 with the 4.3.2, but there is already a newer version, the 12.02. Be aware of that. Some new things which were in there were custom background, which I will take you through in a bit, and join meetings, Zoom meetings with an ID and a password. Now, if you look at the latest one, the 12.02, it says also that if you use external cameras and that it was unable to switch. That is some of the issues that has been resolved in this latest release. So again, I always recommend check the release notes, and I will put them also in the comments. Check the release notes if there are some features or functions that are not working. I saw, for example, also the direct guest join had some issues here because the join button was not showing up. So make sure you're always on that latest release so you can use those latest features of the device. Now let's dive a little bit deeper in some of the new features. First off, custom background. So in the past you had only the option to select a fixed background, which was not really aligned with the MTR on Windows, where you could do custom backgrounds. And I have also a lot of customers who use Android, and they also use it mixed with Windows-based MTR. So of course it would be very nice to make sure that they both got the same look and feel. So for the end user, it doesn't matter which room they are walking into. So now with the latest Teams application, you can now get your custom background. So single screen, dual screen, and you can also have a background on your panel. And really nice. So you could just have a background with a QR code, so not just like joining or guest join with your mobile phone, but also QR code, maybe for additional support. You could inject that into your background, and then people are able to use that if they need external support or something. Now, how do you do that? You can use Teams Admin Center, go to the configuration profiles, and here you can upload, make sure you put it in specific guidelines and resolutions, and then you upload it there, and then you can use it or one or two screens or specifically for your console. So they can even be different. So your console and your main display can have different wallpapers. A really, really nice one. Now, one other new feature within the Teams Room Android is that you can join now a Zoom meeting by user ID and a password. So in the past, you could only join by just getting the calendar invite. So now you got more flexibility. If you don't have the calendar invitation, or don't know the email address of the room, you can always now punch in that meeting ID and password. I think a really, really nice one. And the other one, which I recently also got some questions, is when you got larger rooms and you check in on one scheduling panel. In the past, it didn't check in on the other panel. And so if a user checks in on this side of the entrance, and then on the other side of the entrance, there wasn't any check-in, that people could check in on both sides, which could really confuse the system as they're all using the same account and where they sign in. So now this all works together. You can have multiple scheduling panels on entrances of the room. So this is, I think, a really nice one, which is available now in the latest version of the scheduling panel app. Now, one other new feature which arrived is that you can join. So let's say you have an invitation on your mobile phone and you want to use that room for that specific Teams invitation. You can now scan that QR code, you select the invitation from your invite, and then you're able to join and use that conference room for your meeting. I think this is a really, really nice one. And of course, if you don't want that, there's always the possibility to turn that off. The other thing that was added was HDMI ingest using the 4K support. So now you're able to, and of course locally, you're able to support local 4K content on the screens. Now, what is important, if you got the first generation of the X series, then one screen is 4K and the other screen is max 2080p. With the second generation of boards, so the X32, the X52, the X72, you will, and the G62, they have dual screen 4K 30 support. So then you, if you have dual screen and you do that on the second screen, you want to share content, you will get that on 4K. And I think a really nice one. Not in the Teams meeting, of course. This is purely locally inside the room. This is also already available on your own Windows, but this is now also available on the Android side. And of course, you can control some of those things also centrally now through the configuration profiles. So you can turn off the HDMI ingest if you don't want that. We're able to configure some of those settings. Now, there's also a feedback form now. So if you need to give some feedback or specific about the room, you're able to fill in a form now and provide some information to the backend IT team. If you run into any issue with StudioX devices, G7500, G62, there's on all those devices, there's a factory image. Similar on the TC10 and the TC8. You can always bring them back in a factory state. This is, I think, a really nice one. So if there are any issues and you don't get the right experience or something, I recommend to just reset it. You can do that through the web interface. There's a reset all configuration, or using the pin on the device. And the pin will really set back the image which came out of factory. So you got a really complete image. Same on all the devices, you will find that pin. Also on the TC8 on the back there is a pinhole. Also in the interface you can find the reset button. So in any case, this is what I always recommend. If there are some issues and you cannot explain it, and in other rooms you don't have the same issues, do a factory reset, get it back to that factory image, and that should help to get your problem resolved most of the times. Now, what is also natuurlijk a nice one is if you have that latest version running on your StudioX, you will get back into the experience without using a keyboard and a mouse. You just select the specific version and the Teams provider you need to use, and then you can use that and log in with the specific account. Of course, write down the serial number up front. That is a nice one, because if you reset the device, it will go back to the last 6 digits, unless you use lens. Because if you factory reset it through PolyLens, it will grab, if you leave it in PolyLens, it will grab its configuration again. And so then locally it is reset, but then if you leave it in PolyLens, it will get that image and that configuration setting which you already used. If there is a password set, it will grab that at the end automatically from your lens environment. So that is, I think, a very good one to know. The next application I'm going to take you through, the brand new developments, is the Zoom application running natively on the StudioX and on the G family. Now, with the 4.3.2, 6.1 is the base version, as well as a room controller and as a controller. And a controller, I mean, in the TC8 and the TC10. So this version is coming along. Now, it could be in parallel from the Zoom device management portal that there is a newer version. And same as with Teams, you can always push out that newer version to the devices to make sure that customers can always use the latest and greatest there. Now, what is new looking at a Zoom certified device? So we got the V52, which is now Zoom certified. We got the G62, which is now Zoom certified, and the new generation, the second generation of the StudioX devices is in progress. But it could be that when I make the video and it is already there. So I would just recommend to always just check the release notes and see which devices are certified. But this should be available soon. Same as for the V72. That should all become available soon. But again, I will always keep you updated through my videos. Now, one new thing which I want to take you through is the E60 camera, which is now recognized by the Zoom Room application. So you can now configure manual tracking and pan tilt zoom or use some of those presets. You can use group framing, so auto group and make sure that everybody is visible. You have the multi-stream smart gallery, so you'll be able to use multiple cameras, including the E60 in that room. So a remote participant is able then to select the camera that he wants to see. We have intelligent director, which are really multiple cameras at the same time, and the cameras investigate themselves the best shot of the participants in the room. I created a video earlier of that, and I make sure that I put a link right there, so you're able to review that video. But there's a new one coming up for Zoom Room on Android, and that is presenter focus. And you see here a little bit in the back how that looks like, presenter focus. Really nice one, and that makes sure that you configure that stage and that presenter framing. If you have configured that, you can turn that on by selecting the presenter focus. This is already available on Zoom Room on Windows and should now be soon available on the Zoom Room on Android. Now, one feature which I identified in the interface when selecting cameras is that you can use also the HDMI input as a main camera. Just good to know. So if you got one of those cameras which are specifically using HDMI in, that is a possibility now, and connect that and use that as the main camera. Now, same as with the Teams application, the newer Chromium is installed underneath. So there's a lot of possibilities for the performance increases, of course, but also the multiple layouts, the HDMI ingest. But again, that also depends on what the different video providers allow. But I guess the grounding has been done. So all the functions and features are available. It's now just a matter of that the video providers make them available in the DirectX join. But it would be, I think, a really nice one to get this, to get these available. Now, lastly, I want to take you through the Google application. Also a nice one, which runs on the Studio X30, X50, X70, but also runs on the newer, the second generation Studio X line. Again, it's a native application. You don't need any Chrome box or anything. The application is running natively on the Studio X. So for the small room, you can use the X30. Your mid-size room, you can use the X52. And for the larger rooms, you can now use your X72. Really nice. So with the X52, you can have also dual screen, where you can connect the second screen and do your content. Same as with the X72. You can hook up the TC8 and TC10 as a control panel at the table, and also the device mode is available. So you can always break out to different video providers using the device mode and in combination with a laptop in the room. And if needed, the X52, X72, they both support the extensibility with an extension mic, so you're always able to extend the audio further in the room. The DirectX Join is a new feature which also came available in the latest release with Google. So you can now break out to WebEx or to Zoom using the DirectX Join. Really nice, and get to those other platforms. Besides then the BYOD, the device mode, you can also do that now without using your laptop and just getting into the calendar invite and join those meetings. Now, same thing. Some features which are not supported, dual screen not supported there, HDMI ingest, so there are some limitations listed right here, and probably also some of those limitations will be solved in the future. But again, that also always depends on the different video providers that are able to use it. Here's also the Chromium upgraded to that latest version. So there's performance increase, the grounding work has been done for HDMI ingest. So everything is available for those providers and are able to use it. Now, here you see a quick overview of the 4.3.2 with all the latest and greatest applications. I always recommend to go to the docs.polio.com. There you'll find also the integrator guide, reference guide, the release notes, etc. So you can always get an overview of all those information. Same thing with what is supported. So also with external adapters, with the G7500, with different camera versions, the different external DSPs. So you can find all that information in the release notes. Again, I always just recommend to check out that, and I will make sure that I will put links into release notes, so you're able to find that very quickly. Now, last but not least, the reference guide. So I will make sure that the compatibility guide, the integrator guide, that all that information is in the comments, so you're able to find that very quickly. And here ends my video on an update on VideoOS 4.3.2. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I tried to keep it within 1 or 2 coffees, but yeah, it's always hard. There's so much good information out there, which I'm trying to consolidate as much as possible in this update. But hopefully you enjoyed it. I will make sure that I'll create chapters, so if you need to jump to those different pieces, then I will make sure you're able to do that. There's a lot of new videos coming up, so I could just say subscribe to my channel, and as soon as a new video comes out, I will keep you updated. If you got any questions or comments, just put them under the video, and I will try to answer them, of course, as good as possible. Thank you for watching, and I'm already looking forward to see you back in the next video.